Hi, and welcome back to our channel. Today our adventure is going to take us to Lincoln State Park and Lincoln Boyhood National Memorial in southern Indiana. Come along on the journey with us. So we're here at the Lincoln Boyhood National Memorial in Lincoln City, and just going to kind of show you around a little bit. This is the entrance in the visitor center, and as you can see, there's a big flag up through the walkway and stuff. And then this is the front entrance to the visitor center. There's a lot of sculpture work and sayings as you walk around. It's all about Lincoln and his time here. This is the main entrance into the visitor center. It's open from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and then from 1 to 3 p.m. Central Time. And as you go around from left to right, it talks about him moving from Kentucky into Indiana and his hard work there, and then Illinois, and then to Washington, D.C. So this is the entrance from the visitor center on the path that takes you back to the homestead of the Lincolns. And it says that you're facing the wooden knoll on which sleeps Nancy Hanks Lincoln, mother of the president, who lived in this Hoosier environment during the formidable years of his life from 1816 to 1830. Beyond to the north of this marked the site of the humble log cabin where she led him for a little while along the path to greatness. So on the grounds here at the Lincoln Boyhood National Memorial, there's a cemetery, and this cemetery is where Lincoln's mother and sister both are buried. Lincoln's mother died in October of 1818 from milk sickness, and then his sister died later while giving childbirth, and they're both buried in the cemetery here on the grounds. So this is the homestead of Thomas Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln's father, and this is part of the homestead that they cleared off when they moved to Indiana. All right, so there's two trails on here at Lincoln National Memorial, and one of them is a 12 Stones trail, which is, as you walk it, it has stones that monument different things in his life or different moments in his life. The second trail is the Lincoln Farm Nature Trail, and it's a 1 mile loop that is an easy walk loop with just a little bit of elevation on it. So this is a monument from the Spencer County to Abraham Lincoln, and it depicts that the actual cabin is just a few hundred yards or feet from that memorial. So the actual cabin would have been right in this area somewhere. So as we're coming up through here, this is actually the replica of the home site of the Lincoln Farm, and it's actually, they have workers there that will tell you what life was like back in the day of Abraham Lincoln. So this is actually the site of the Lincoln cabin that's right in front of the replica cabin. So there's a replica of the foundation and part of the chimney, and they know this is the site because they excavated this site and found it.
In the Lincoln family, there were 3 girls and 3 boys from 3 different families. There was Abraham and his sister. There were the 3 children from the second marriage, and then there was Dennis Hanks. Dennis was a cousin of Nancy's. Nancy went to go help his aunt and uncle who were raising him. They both died from the milk sickness as well, just before Nancy. They know Nancy went out to help her best friend, Mrs. Bruner. Mrs. Bruner also died. And then a week later, Nancy died. They think she drank the milk at their houses. They asked Abraham later in years when he became popular where the home place sat. That's all they asked him as far as the buildings, because in those days, that's all you did ask. You didn't want to know where the restroom was, which is the biggest question we get. But in those days, they wanted to know where the house sat, and Abraham said that it sat so many yards this way from the spring and so many yards this far from his mother's gravesite. And it puts you here. The Lincolns, they knew, were building the grand cabin when they left. That over there is, after they dug it, found out to be the grand cabin, not the one he lived in all the time. We do have pictures of it, and it does show buildings back here, and the people that remembered the building standing, this one, sat 30 yards this side of that cabin, which is very typical of them in those days, to build the grand cabin close to the original, because you would use that one. The other one was never found. The one that he lived in the whole time was never found. It sat on the ground. When the Lincolns moved here, they had no doors in the doorways, no glass in the windows, and no flooring. It wasn't until after the wife came and with her 3 children that it was decided and agreed upon prior to marriage that Abraham's father would put those items in the house. Abraham said the 3 girls slept down here in one corner, Mom and Dad in the other corner, and they slept on one-legged bedsteads. That's one leg. Here, usually this outside leg sometimes went all the way to the ceiling. Then you had a beam going into that wall and a beam from it going into this wall. Then you formed a tabletop in that corner and put your bedding on top of it. The 3 boys slept upstairs. This is the loft. It just goes into a little hall, and the boys, he said, just slept on the floor. It wouldn't be like a bedroom we see today. That would also hold lots of storage up there.
This is the smokehouse that the Lincolns would have used, one similar to it.
I'll get in there and get some of that shoulder, I think. This here's his pork belly.
So we are inside the visitor center at Lincoln Boyhood Home National Memorial. And this is the Lincoln Hall. One of the rooms in the Lincoln Hall. It's where they still have lectures and stuff. And then they have a small gift shop within the visitor center. This is the other wing of the visitor center.
Just like you just unlocked the information desk.
Going into the Mary Hanks Lincoln Hall, they have a 15-minute video that they run ever so often that is the story of Lincoln, and you can visit it, but it's a 15-minute video that they have. So it's July 5th and very warm out here, but we have took a tour of the Lincoln Boyhood Home National Memorial. All in all, as far as something to come and see, I would give it a very good rating. The interpreters in the log cabin were very, very informative and glad to tell you the story. The visitor center, they were very helpful as well. The staff that was in there, everything is very well kept. It's a very enjoyable and informative park. If you get a chance to come to it, I would come to it. Thank you for watching our video. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe, and please leave comments below. Thank you. So we're at Lincoln State Park, and right after you come into the entrance gate is the Abraham Lincoln Bicentennial Plaza. So let's take a walk around and look at it. So it has different sayings and scriptures from Abraham Lincoln on the plots or on the beams here. And then you come around to the back of it. There's places to sit with more talking. And then you have this memorial here with the Gettysburg Address on it and a bust of him. And as you look at this, going from left to right, it starts in 1816 and then it goes around to 1830. And what's really cool about this is on this, the difference where the date is shows Abraham Lincoln's height in the different years and shows you how tall Abraham Lincoln was as he grew up in Indiana. So we're at the little Pigeon church that is within the Lincoln State Park, and this cemetery is the resting place of several of the settlers that were here during the Lincoln era. And something unique about this church is they still hold services in this church every Sunday. So here at Lincoln State Park, it's one of the few parks in Indiana that actually has a beach on it. They also have a boat rental. You can rent paddle boats, maybe canoes. They have the store, the beach house and stores over there. They have a campgrounds, fairly large campground with RV, modern camping, and also primitive camping. They also have a amphitheater. It's the Abraham Lincoln Amphitheater, and it's a theater where they actually do plays and stuff on a regular basis here within the park. It's probably one of the biggest amphitheaters in the Indiana State Park system. And here you can see kind of the beach. So here at Lincoln State Park, like I said a few minutes ago, they've got a beach. You can see the dam across there. There's a walkway across the dam and the bridge. That's part of the trail system that goes all the way around the lake. This is the boat rental place where you can rent kayaks, canoes, paddle boats. And then back behind that, if you can see in the distance, is the campgrounds. And the campgrounds actually comes out almost to the edge of the lake at one point. So this is the boat rental cabin, and it's got a sign on it that says boat rentals closed. So I don't know if they're not doing boat rentals anymore or not. This will give you a better look at the entire lake here. It's a nice lake. It's stocked with several fish. Has a boat ramp. So this is the modern campgrounds within the park, and as you can see, right there's the lake, and there's the first camper. They have several sites, and again, this is the 4th of July weekend, and you can tell that it's fairly quiet here, even though it is the 4th of July. But there's a lot of campers here today. This campgrounds does have modern restrooms and shower houses. And a video later we will do a tour of the campgrounds, but not today. So that's a tour of Lincoln State Park near Santa Claus Land, Indiana. Overall, there's quite a bit to do in this park. There's more in this park to do than a lot of the other state parks. It's the 4th of July weekend. It's not crowded here like I thought it would be. The campgrounds wasn't crowded and quiet. We have stayed here a few times, and all in all, it's a very good park. And if you get a chance to come and visit this park, it's right across from the Lincoln Boyhood National Memorial. Thank you.